So we're going to be scrutinizing the role of drainage services in the sustenance of the environment in Lagos. And who else is better suited to take us through that discourse other than Engineer Olalekan Shodeinde, who's the Permanent Secretary, Office of Drainage Services, Lagos State. Nice to have you in the building. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you, Victor. Good morning, Lagos.
It's been quite a while we had you on this program, so it's been a long time. How's things been for you, sir?
We thank God for His mercies.
Right.
Fine, thank you.
The last time you were here was in February, and we talked about your preparedness for the rainy season. This was shortly, before the onset of COVID-19. So, how has things been for the Office of Drainage Services?
Yeah, thank you, Victor. We've been pretty busy. We have our programs pre-rain, and we've vigorously pursued that. A lot of channels are being maintained, cleaned of all debris. At the same time, we're constructing new collectors that will aid the conveyance capacity of existing infrastructures. But by and large, government has been pretty busy trying to ensure that Lagosians get evidence of democracy.
All right, and by way of reflection, let's look at the impact of COVID-19, the pandemic on your work, especially from the Office of Drainage Service. How's it been?
Well, on individuals, yet it's not been easy for me, my staff, my team. But Mr. Governor, realizing the nature of our work and the timing that this pandemic just came at the time we should be really on the field working, because it's not when the rain starts that we ought to start working.
Right.
Our work, starts before the rain to ensure that the channels are free, the volumes are clean, are clear to work effectively. So when COVID started, we never shut down for one day actually, because we would declare an emergency service.
Right.
So all through COVID, as the health team were dealing with COVID medically, we were dealing with COVID, trying to manage the flood. So our office was open, all my engineers and my team, we've been very much busy all
through the while.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Now, for the purpose of clear understanding, let's talk about the mandate that has been given to your office, the Office of Drainage Services. What do you guys do?
Thank you very much, Victor, once again. Well, it's very clear. Office of Drainage Services, anything drainage. And when you say drainage is the system of conveyance of storm runoff. Now, but the name has been expanded by Mr. Governor when he was inaugurated to Office of Drainage and Water Resources.
Okay, so water resources have been added.
The scope expanded to water resources. So anything water in whatever state, solid, liquid or gas, in whatever state water can be, is our responsibility that it is well managed, optimized, and kept clean. Right? So that water is the best partner anybody can think of, but it can be a worst enemy even managed. So our job is just to manage water in its entirety.
Okay. So that is the next scope now that has been added to the fact that you manage drainages. Let us get back to the issue of drainage before we still expand the scope to water resources. When we talk about this, all drainages, are they the same?
Well, let's do some refreshing.
Yes, so let's break this down for our people this morning.
You see, before you talk of drain, you must talk of rainfall. And rainfall event is part of the natural water cycle, that exists naturally.
Right.
Every square meter of land has drainageability in it. When rain falls, half of that is supposed to go into the ground through deep or shallow percolation, naturally. Another 40 or 45% of that volume of rainfall ought to stay on the green, the leaves, the grasses, the trees, so that when the rain stops and the sun comes out, it gets evapotranspirated back into the atmosphere.
Right.
Then maybe like 5-10% will come as runoff into the environment that goes into the drains, the canals, and
into the lagoon.
And let us realize something again. Lagos is the most downstream of several river systems.
Meaning that
a lot of rivers from our north, a lot of rainfall event up north of Lagos, find its way one way or the other
down to Lagos. So Lagos is on the lowland. That's what it means.
Definitely, we're the closest to the reservoir. The lagoon is the reservoir before the ocean.
All right.
So we're the closest. So every other state up north can decide to rapidly collect their stormwater runoff and discharge it. But we don't have that luxury. There is no way we are discharging to. We're already that low-lying area buffer to store the water.
Right.
But even that as it may, it doesn't disturb our livelihood. Because government realizing that Lagos is low-lying, we don't have the energy or capacity to travel to send the water away as quickly as we can.
Right.
Yeah, some natural alignments are identified to take care of this flow. We have 169 of them all over the state.
These are 169
primary channels. Primary big canals. Naturally existing rivers, streams, even in some wetlands that are not really canals. In some wetlands, we know. I mean, government realizing that Lagos is exploding every day. People are coming to Lagos and they're not going out. People are settling in these wetlands. So we've created, channels within the wetland system that ought to be left unencumbered.
Right.
You can build every other place, but this right of way of these natural systems. So these are the systems that we are working assiduously to protect their sanctity.
And I'm very curious about this number. You said 169 of them, right?
Please, yeah.
But beyond that, these are for primary channels,
these
right?
Are primary channels.
What about secondary? Which ones do we refer to as the secondary?
Well, Victor, you're not schooling me.
No, I just wanted to school our audience. I wanted to school our audience this way.
We've interacted so well.
Yes.
So we have... we've exchanged a lot of things. Actually, we have 3 classes of drains.
Okay.
We have the primary that I explained, naturally existing, very big kind of canals that can take a large volume. Then before that, you have the secondary collectors. These are the nexus. The channels are like is a conveyor system for the storm run of the rainwater. You have the secondary collectors that they are slightly smaller but bigger than the drain in front of the houses.
Okay.
Those drains in front of our houses are called tertiary drains.
Those are the tertiary ones.
The tertiary ones. These ones are supposed just to collect from the neighborhood, throw them to the collectors that are bigger, because by and large, water is volume. As the water is flowing, the volume increases.
Right.
So they expect the water to flow along those road drains because it's going to bubble out.
So let me bring this analogy now, Engineer Shodeinde. So the ones from our homes, which is the tertiary,
yes, please,
will drain into those ones
secondary.
The secondary ones are those ones by the roadside. Are those ones secondary?
No, the ones by the roadside are tertiary.
Oh, they're also tertiary too.
But because of some planning infringements, let me if I can use that word, we are now changing the capacity and the sizing of the tertiary drain alignment into secondary.
All right.
Because we realize that care has not been taken over time to create alignments for secondary channels. So we have to make our roads free and our catchments free of flooding. We're now increasing the capacity of some tertiary drains.
Right.
And making them secondary collectors, so that you might see your 1x1 or 750 drain being made into 3x2, big channels.
Right.
These just
and do you have figures? Do you have figures for these ones? How many of these do we have in Lagos? Do you have figures?
For now, we have over thousands. We have thousands of secondary.
Thousands of secondaries.
Yes. Because these are channels that you see all around. But the capacity, the sizing is what determines, the status of the secondary collectors.
All right.
But
So
very soon, we will be doing a master plan for secondary collectors too.
Across Lagos.
Across Lagos State, that will identify, our own routing. Because let me tell you the hydraulics of it. I said earlier that every square meter of land has a natural responsibility for drainageability.
All right.
Percolation. But the drains we have before were designed for that 10% runoff that I mentioned.
Okay.
If you look at the 100% rainfall, 50% ought to go into the ground. 40% on the greens to be soaked, to be taken back into the atmosphere when the sun comes out. That 10% that's supposed to be running off is what the drains are supposed to convey into the water system.
All right.
But right now, we found out that a lot of us, we've sealed the surfaces, we've taken away percolation, infiltration into the ground. We are having another 50% as runoff. The trees are all gone. No greens again in Lagos.
Right.
So we're having near 100% runoff.
So retainership of this water.
People, I mean, what we are now dealing with peak flow within a short time.
Right.
So the engineering has to change.
Okay. We're still going to come to that, Engineer Shodeinde. But now that the rains are here, let's talk about it. What is the strategy that your office is adopting to really cope with the heavy downpour?
Well, I can say that, like you said, in February we were here, I told you what we're going to do, and we've been able to do a lot of that. We've made achieve all we set out to achieve. We have cleaned a lot of primary channels. Not all, but a lot of them.
Talk about the locations that you've gone to.
Well, thank you. We've done Yaya Baton in Ifakojaye. We've done Ibiye in Badagry, Abia Pota in Badagry. We are the fish farm in Ikorodu, Agbowa in Ikorodu, was it Agric in Ikorodu as well.
Okay.
We are working on secondary collectors in VI and Ikoyi. We've worked on System 5, that's in Surulere. We are working on System 2 at the moment.
Right.
System 6C, that's from Idioro all the way to Sele. System 6D. In fact, we're taking all that one into the first stack channel.
Right. And I'm going to Yes, I'm going to come to that because that area which you just mentioned right now, first stack, Amuwo, Mile 2, that corridor, especially the roads there, a lot of times we're having lots of flooding. And oftentimes it's been fingered that the drainage system in those areas are responsible for the bad state of the road there. What is the office doing to that?
No, we fixed Mile 2 recently. We worked in conjunction with Ministry of Works and Infrastructure and their agency, the Public Works Corporation. We recently fixed Mile 2. If you get to Mile 2 now, you won't see any water on the road there.
So you've picked up all...
It's been done.
Okay. All right. Because I know that the Special Advisor on Works make reference to that last week that you guys went there. All right. So now the Special Advisor also said something. He said a road is as good as the drainage.
Exactly. I mean, it can't be a better put.
All right. So if that's the case, so what's the role? Or perhaps what's the nexus? Or how do you guys come in when a road is being constructed or rehabilitated?
Well, when you say, we'll have a synergy with Ministry of Works. I mean, they're one of the agencies of government that we work with closely. When they're doing their road design and planning, they are solely responsible for the road drain, the tertiary drain that accompanies the road. But this road drain won't work by itself. So we need to connect to our own collector. So we call outfalls. So when their own drain will come into the outfall we have to provide. Because like my commissioner will say, if a plane takes off, it must land, isn't it? Else it crashes.
Right.
So if there is rain, if the water enters the tertiary drain, it must end in the lagoon, right? Mm-hmm. So when works, is constructing their roads, we will take the runoff from the tertiary drain into the outfall. So we identify the outfalls, you need to put energy in the drain. The drain is not just constructed off-handedly like that. There is energy in the drain. You need to direct the flow.
Right.
That from point A to point B. Outfall is here. So the water from this area flows in this direction. The water from that area should flow in this direction so that the flow is coordinated. It's not just, to avoid stagnation.
And
that's how we interact.
Let me bring this to you because these days the rains have been pouring. And every time it rains like that, people do complain the roads are heavily flooded. Though we refer to it as flash floods, right? Because I know within some minutes it's supposed to recede. But we're having lots of this storm of water being retained on those roads.
No, I beg to disagree, Victor.
Okay.
As of today, there's no rain. Our roads are free.
You mean it?
I mean, it is not. I'm not convincing you. I'm on air and I'm saying it with all my mouth wide open.
Okay, all right. I'm going to allow the people to talk to you this morning, and then they also give you some areas of concern. But the strategy is that before now, or perhaps now that the rains are here, you guys are still working vigorously to free those channels. Is that correct?
Well, the channels are free, but our negative attitude is a problem. Victor, I must emphasize that. If the drain were left to function as designed, only silt, sandy particles ought to be in the drain. And we don't need to clean this as often as we are. What we're basically doing right now is solid waste management. Reality, we're clearing refuse from our channels.
Which shouldn't be.
I mean, somebody is putting them there. I mean, that's why we're having this need to go every time to be cleaning. Because if we keep this, if we have this lifestyle change, if I could do abracadabra and beg God to just do some surgery on our brain to prevent us
from doing
what we're doing,
right,
we won't have this much challenge. Flash flood will disappear.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning, we're scrutinizing the role of drainage services in the sustenance of the environment. And Engineer Olalekan Shodeinde, Permanent Secretary, Office of Drainage Services, is taking us to the classroom. All right, it's time for you to also join the conversation as well. We're talking drainage services and what we can do really to make things much better. You can connect with us right now on 0809 912 0777. Okay, that's 080-99120777. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Andrew.
All right, Andrew, talk to me. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Amodoki area now, precisely by NNPC.
All right, go ahead then.
Yeah, good morning, the PS.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Sandra.
Yeah, well done. You said well, but there's still much work to be done by the ministry and when I say the ministry, that's the environment, that oversees the drainage system. Because in the last 2 dispensations, the present commissioner for environment did too well. When I say too well, he did too well, and he tried. Only in the last dispensation, there was little. But now, the things agenda, environment is part of it, health is part of it, traffic and transportation. Having said that, you are doing well. I can see that some, you call it the secondary channel. The secondary channel, some of them are being cleared, but not all.
Okay.
And some of the ones that are cleared, which is being abused by we, the citizens. I'll use the word we, not or some of the citizens. Well, let's say some of the citizens.
Right.
Now, with garbages and deaths and so on, causing blockages, there is no proper supervision and enforcement for people to comply. Because in risk management, for people to comply, there must be an enforcement to mitigate it.
Okay.
You've relaxed that. Very well. You've relaxed that very well. Because I can remember the Ministry of Environment with Loma under it, then during the last 2 dispensations, there is what they call Loma police and so on. Monitoring things. I know it has to do with finance. Getting more laborers and so on, paying them. But if one has to do that, people within the community that have been doing the Loma policing, because you can't take people from outside, people from the community, and they will be the eye to it.
Okay.
I know what Loma did then, while we have Mr. Enforcer, one man, I won't name him, I don't think he's still there, and some other people that are working there.
Okay.
L2 has been a major challenge.
Mile 2?
I saw people from F5, the secondary channel where the water in that axis, because I know too well the primary and secondary channel within that axis, right from childhood. It's within that barracks. It's totally blocked, and from the primary channel, people have been, I don't know, maybe they leave it to them or they allow them or so, in quotes, they've used it to do container terminal by Chale. If you are coming from Urile, if you are coming from Suralaba, by the time you are turning to Oshodi, that landscape there, there's a channel there, which Julius Vega did. It has been blocked by garbages.
Okay, so
what they can't do anything there.
So what's your question to him this morning? What do you want him to do?
Now, I said first, they are not doing well enough by compliance. And government is aware, I know government is aware that some people are packing containers there. They've used that as a container stack. It's not a container terminal approved. I don't think so.
All right. So enforcement is what is needed, right?
Yes, and the drainage around mile 2, they are no more working. And the one in Amwod, they are no more working. And now, you look at the road CC or so that did at Agor Road. I don't know the name of that bus stop. That place, come rain, come sun. That place has been there for a long time.
All right.
Nothing has been done for the past 2 years.
We're taking note of that. Thank you so much.
Junction,
yeah.
Which is causing traffic. It's causing traffic and it's causing robbery.
Okay. All right.
Traffic that is causing robbery. Thank you very much.
We've taken note of that, Andrew. Thank you so much. He's giving a whole deluge of.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. But I didn't want him to go, but he's gone. I would have said he should go back to Signals Barracks, take a walk from mile 2. You won't see a drop of water on the road
anymore.
You
guys have worked on it.
Yeah, I thought, but I didn't know where he said it was at NNPC in mile 2. It would have been nice if we took a stroll to Signal Barracks and take a look at the entire mile 200 bridge up to Signals Barracks. That's the back is referring to.
Okay, then.
But the container terminal part of it, I know Lagos government didn't give an approval for any container terminal.
Okay.
So, and there is no container terminal along our channel alignment that I can say. The only place I see is by the school.
All right, let me take this one. Let me just take this one coming in. Hello there.
Good morning, Mr. Victor.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Eboda on the line.
Eboda, what's happening within your corridor?
Just to quickly update you. Around Salvation, we have one broken down articulated vehicle before.
Okay.
Thank God.
It has been taken off.
Yes. It's out of the road now. So for those people who are making use of that U-turn, no cause for alarm now.
All right.
So coming all the way from Salvation back to Adebola, it's a good movement now.
Okay.
Then Adebola en route going roundabout, we have a good.
Okay.
I mean, other intersection.
All right.
We still have good movement and other area. So for those people coming from Secretariat, we have more people moving in from Secretariat end. There is no cause for alarm. All our men doing their best at that area.
Okay.
Then Pavilion Beach, see a good movement. Personally, I'm very much happy by Adebola. So we still have a good movement also.
All right.
So we are doing our best here.
Okay.
So that's just the update.
Thank you so much, Eboda. That's the latest report. We talked about that impediment around Salvation. He says it has been taken off, and so it's a better movement within that corridor. Let's hear from you this morning, 0809-912-0777. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Ayo.
Ayo. Where are you calling from?
Ogba.
Go ahead, Ayo.
Yeah. Please, what I want to say is this. See, I've seen their efforts, but if I want to raise them, I will give them less than 30%.
Why do you say that?
They are saying this. They are saying that what we are good at in this country is we are good at paperwork. Now they said they want to upgrade the primary drainage for the past 1 year. We have not. Is it on paperwork?
Now, so
tell me,
which one in your own area in Ogba, for instance, have you seen?
Ogba, you know Ogba. I know very well. That's between Area G to Mobi.
There's a primary drain there.
Maybe primary drain or anything. I don't want to see.
Okay, but the drains there.
Flood. Huh?
Once it rains, what happens? Is it flooded?
That place is flooded between Area G and Mobi. That place is flooded, and it is not. It did not start today. It has been there for long.
Okay.
It has been there for long. Now, my own advice is this: that Office of Drainage System, or I don't know the full name, they should mark them with Lagos State Public Works.
Okay.
All these, you say Lagos State Public Source and that. And again, all this drainage that they said is meant for local government. As far as I'm concerned, there is no local government in Lagos State. They are dead. That is it.
All right. You've made your point. Thank you so much.
They should take over the drainage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Before Mr. Ayo goes, I think he needs to realize that everybody has responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
The tertiary drains along Ogba Road is the biggest problem. But as I'm talking to you, we are cleaning the major collector along Wemco. It's a conduit. It's underground. You'll be amazed at what we're packing out of this conduit. But we are doing it and we've almost finished it.
Right. So
it's supposed to take water from Mobile all the way to Agidingbi into the gorge at the back.
Amole Gorge.
Amole Gorge. Thank you. So if the tertiary drains at Area G, the entire Ogba Road, people are living along this road. They're doing business there. The law legally requires every tenement to clean the drain in front of their houses.
Okay.
We need to do this. It takes two hands to make a clap, sir.
Let's take this a call that's coming in. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Who are we speaking with?
Hello, this is Ola.
Oh, okay. Ola, how are you doing today?
Which area?
Okay, so where are you calling from, Ola?
I'm on Ikorodu Road.
Ikorodu Road. All right, go ahead then.
What's happening there? Number one, the traffic is, I don't know. Don't let me.
Okay, that's which part of Ikorodu Road are you at the moment?
Around Independence Center, heading to Maryland.
And it's very, very slow where you are.
Yes, very, very, very.
Okay. All right, we'll connect with our control room before we have your contribution. Go ahead then.
On the drainage issue, I think I can speak for myself on this issue. Number one, according to this program before, I think maybe you brought environmental people, so I remember that. Wherever I told them, I stay on Ikorodu Road around Koshofe. You understand? On Ikorodu Road around Koshofe, whereby getting babies now, disposing of our refuse is very hard unless we patronize these guys. Because our Aboki.
That's the cart pushers.
The cart pushers, yes, thank you. So, and before then, there is a way whereby I normally see refuse dump along the roadside I think on strategic places now, whereby all these PSP people will come by very early in the morning to pack them. But up until recently, they stopped it because they had to get security on those.
At those spots, okay.
If someone like me can dispose as refuse, I take my refuse as far as from Koshofe down to Shomolu, where I have access to stay. You know, that's where I work.
Okay.
So I see them on daily basis when I'm working.
Okay, so
you understand, to dispose.
Right.
It's because I have a car. Like, for example, someone that does not have a car would not go with a refuse in public transport down that far.
So what you are saying now, Ola, is that most of those drainages are blocked because people do not have any option.
We don't have proper dispose option. It's like nobody is even caring about those of us that live on the Ikorodu Road Express in Coast.
Okay then.
But we need a way of disposing too.
All right. We've taken note of that, Ola. Thank you so much. And before I allow you to respond, and Shodeinde, we're going to take a brief break right now. We'll take this, we'll return. But a lot of people are concerned about refuse disposal. Perhaps if Loma is very, very up to task, maybe that will not affect your work so much. But it appears this is what the people are expressing this morning. But a brief break, we'll be back. And we're heading to the last bend of the program this morning as we continue to scrutinize drainage services in the sustenance of the environment. Some of you are making comments via the WhatsApp and our social media platform. I just allow Shade to take yours through that. What are the comments looking like? Let's just run through that.
Okay, let me take the first one here. And it says, please, the Ogolonto Road is beyond bad. And so many roads in the corridor are worse. I wonder why the weight of the road is destroyed totally. This is coming from Bollywelt.
Okay.
Let's see. Ojuodo Canal at Shasha going to Orisunbari has been abandoned for over 6 years. It's now totally blocked.
Ojuodo Canal.
Ojuodo Canal at Shasha. Shasha going to Orisunbari.
Okay, all right.
Let's see which other one do we have. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Victor Terry. Here is a reminder. Okay, please ask the PAMSEC. What about clearing the Oregon Canal? All the drains in the upper Ikeja is diverted to this canal since Julius Berger reconstructed Kudirat Abiola Road, Oregon.
All right.
And this coming from Odeyemi.
Okay, so let's get back to this. I've just stopped there because of time. The Oregon Canal, Engr, this caller or this person is concerned about it. Have you guys gone there in recent time?
Is the system one? I can tell you system one is okay as it is. The challenge with those along the alignment of system one is that they've encroached into the right of way of the canal.
Okay.
And when developing, you need to be mindful of the height of your development. So dredging a low-lying area is a no-brainer. You're not going anywhere. You're not adding any volume to dredging it. So rather than going down, we need to be coming up,
right,
to give water volume. Because what water loses in area, it gains in depth or height.
Right.
Water flows down and rises up. Okay. So there are only two ways.
All right. So are your men going to go back there?
We don't have anything to do in System 1 other than just drop. System 1 needs to be majorly upgraded now, not just dredged.
Okay.
We need to construct it. Let me give a typical analogy. Look at the level of Olalekan. Olalekan in Ikeja. And look at how deep System 1 is.
At that place.
That's at Alade Market.
Right.
So dredging it has no, because the land is even below. So we need to bring the canal up and create energy for water to flow into the lagoon.
All right, let's talk about
the water in the canal now is the lagoon level.
Right. Let's talk about Ojudo Canal at Shasha going inward.
Yeah, Ojudo Canal goes into the airport, and as I'm talking to you, we're cleaning the channel from the airport all the way to Okafa, to Frederick Fashion, all the way to Amuwo Canal, Amuwo system.
Right.
So we're cleaning all the outfall of this Ojudo Canal, and I'm sure if we are not there, Ojudo is not where we're working about. We'll take it up and we'll consider it for the future intervention. Like I told you, we're working until October.
All right then. So let's take this to the end of the program this morning, Engineer Shodeinde. What's your message to our people, and how best can citizens take charge of these facilities, this infrastructure being provided?
Thank you. The reward now is for people to take ownership. Ownership. It takes two hands to make a clap. Government is doing its best, ensuring that the canals and the collectors are free of encumbrance. That's why I said earlier that when it rains, within 1 2 hours, the water will flow off the road. Because what we have now is we're having peak discharges within a short time.
Okay.
So we're having minor delays, but eventually it goes. But my prayer and my plea is for every individual person living in Lagos to please clean the drain in front of their houses.
Okay.
That will help us a lot. And please stop throwing PET bottles, styrofoam, and waste on the road. Stop turning the channels into a garbage bin. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not that bad that there's no PSP. PSP exists in Lagos. Might not be perfect, might not be 100% efficient, but they exist. But under no guise must we patronize these abokis like Madam Ola mentioned.
Right.
Anything you give to the aboki, I tell you without thinking, ends up in the drain.
And that's going to affect...
Because aboki can push refuse from Kosofe to Olusosun. That's got that kind of energy.
Right.
It will end in the next canal, please.
Okay, then. And I think with that plea, we're going to round things up on the program this morning. Engineer Olalekan Shodeinde, thank you so much for making it through to the studio this morning, even at very short notice.
Thank you very much, Victor.
All right.
Always available.
Okay, great. So we've been able to x-ray the second component of the theme's agenda, precisely looking at it from the role of drainage services in the sustenance of the environment. This is under the component of health and environment of the theme's agenda.